I'm Rachel Simpson, and I'm going to talk about the supply chain management. What we've gone over before already is the customer service portion and the operations of Disney. But what we need to discuss now is how does the Walt Disney Company create that experience for the customer while they do it with their supply chain management. The most important factor that they want in this for their supply chain management is that it's invisible and magical. They don't want people to come into the Walt Disney Park and see that there's somebody running the logistics of setting up the gift shop there. They want everything to be an undertone that you cannot see. It's an invisible portion of it. Walt Disney breaks it down into 5 processes. The first one is the customer response, which is the #1 most important thing that Disney stresses. It's all about the customer experience. So the customer's response is gauged on what the customer feels that they want out of their experience, whether it's at a store or whether it's at a ride or whether it's something that they purchase online. Throughout the entire Disney experience, it's, guest satisfaction is #1. So with forecasting and marketing trends, we look at the customer response, and they utilize information technology using some online databases that they use, as well as some tracking of what guest satisfaction was before and where they need to increase their products. Inventory management, there are multiple enterprise systems that they use as well throughout their inventory chain management. They focus on several factors. They focus on forecasting, their order quantity engineering, their fill rates, and that's all done with online processing. They want to define the guest response, so it's an electronic integration of their supply chain. Sourcing and procurement, it's basically what their suppliers are. So they look at their suppliers, and based on past performance, they give each supplier a scorecard. Walt Disney goes through and gives them different scores based on how fast that supplier has filled that quota, and rates each scorecard. They use spreadsheets like Microsoft Excel to use their total delivery cost analysis. They want to evaluate how much does it cost for each area that they're supplying to. Transportation and trade management is, the wide word for that we all know is logistics. Basically, how are we going to get the goods that the customer wants to the point that they're requesting it for? They use a system called Global Trade Management System, which is very popular with the multinational corporations. They gives multiple information from their global systems, as well as data from the one that's overseas, as well as the Walt Disney World in Orlando and the one that's in California. They can integrate all that information into one system. DC operations is the warehousing. Right now at Walt Disney World, everything is fully automated at that site. Disneyland is half automated, but they're trying to bring that transaction into a full automated. What it is basically once you get a product from the supplier, there's a barcode that they can scan into the computer system, and from then on it's all automated. Everything is done from automation. So basically all these 5 portions, upper management really wants to stress that this is not something that the guests can see. This is the behind the scenes, like Patrick was talking about with the operations portion, not visible to the guests. We want to make sure that the experience that they see is magical. You don't want to be able to see what the supply chain management is. The next video that we're going to show you is just what the next step of information technology is and how it can be incorporated in the future expansion of Walt Disney World parks.